So, welcome to the brand new 2020 Dallas After Effects User Group. So glad you guys are here. And tonight, we're talking about nulls from paths, some stuff about that, and some shape layer tricks that I've been messing with. But I also have just some other random things that I've been messing around with and wanted to show you guys some stuff I've been inspired by. And this is one of them. So this is an audio cassette that I created with...
What is that?
Audio cassette. Yeah. Created with shape layers.
See, in my day, that's how we were doing it.
Yep.
Oh, I thought.
All right, so...
Made entirely of shape layers.
Yeah,
Cool.
so we're going to go to over here, and it's in, I've got the Cinema 4D renderer on, and then I just created some shapes. That's the reels and the gears.
These are just extruded shapes.
Extruded shapes, yep. Bump. There's a sticker. That guy. And some holes and screws. And all together.
How'd you do the holes? Is that just a mask? Or?
Yeah, it is shape layer stuff. Oh, I wonder if Jeremy's here. Hey, Jeremy. Are you outside? Jeremy won't be here tonight.
Damn.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for letting me know, and I hope you can make it next time. All right. Take care, buddy.
I'll go fetch Tim.
Yeah.
You do.
I'll go fetch you
Yeah. In just a minute, it's only me. It's only me sitting here. So anyway, I just, I was messing around with, can you do more complex? Can you do more complex objects? And felt like, of course, I wanted to create an audio cassette. So yeah, all of this stuff is, let's see, go to the body here. Okay, so the body is, you can see that I just have the main silhouette, and then just using merge paths in here, group some stuff together, merge the paths to cut out the holes and do the extrusion. And then let's see, yeah, there's where the tape runs through. That is, it's just a box with the holes. And I think I rotated it a tiny bit on the x-axis to have it kind of flare out a little bit.
Cool.
It's not perfect, but it's kind of fun. So,
yeah.
You can success, everybody. The next thing I want to show you is a little text transition. So Jason Smith, who I think he won the Eye of Sauron challenge that Jeremy did. Jason was telling me about using time displacement, which is up here under time displacement, and you use a gradient like so, and apply that to something that's already animated, and the gradient will displace over time. based on the light and dark values. Okay, so this is, I'll show you the animation first. This is what is animated. That right there. And then if I apply the time displacement, I have it at 0.5 seconds, and the resolution is only 12 frames per second. So it's the gradient is fat instead of a precise gradient. This is what you get.
Interesting.
It's very like sports.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
How many steps is there?
12 steps.
Okay.
All right,
Oh,
so
that's
then-
the resolution.
right.
Okay.
And it is only these keyframes here. So that's all it is, with an expression that just has Texas fade in when Alan fades out.
So the more steps you make, the smoother it'll be. Right?
Right. So let's look at that. We can go up to like 160.
That's
See what that looks like.
Still cool.
kind of fun.
Yeah. Looks kind of like a transparency peel. And then go back here.
Now the max displacement time offset, that's how much time it's offsetting then? From one degree
you
to
know,
the other?
Actually, John, I kind of have no idea what this is for. I know that it changes when the displacement happens. Sorry, but I don't know if I get close to it, if it is more like it was trying to be more precise or what. So there was that. Let's go back to 0.5 and see what it does. I know that one feels better to me than the other one, but I don't know if it's because I just think it feels better. So then there's also this movement here. So we can see what that looks like. So that's kind of cool. And then one more piece of that is I had using gradient transition, yeah. So this angle here. Oh, maybe I have an expression set up. Yeah, so I can use, I'll set my slider to tell the angle to come on with that expression on the opacity. That right there.
So what does the slider do?
The slider is saying I want to turn on or off any of these. So that's number 1, that's number 2, that's number 3.
How do they differ?
Let's see, I will leave that there. Go here. 1 is just the diagonal ramp. 2 is a circle, and 3 is the diamond.
Okay, so it's just effectively switching between, like turning the opacity on and off.
Right.
I wonder what would happen if you used like texture or something like that.
Yeah, fractal noise.
Want me to put some noise on there?
Oh, okay, so the slide controller is choosing which gradient you're using.
Correct.
It's just turning on and off the layer.
Yeah. So if we put a fractal texture on here, like that, Oh, somebody is here. Somebody go check on that for me.
We'll really open the door this time.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Dear Internet, if Morris dies, we'll be back later.
I know, I medicated just a little while ago and I thought I was feeling better. Because I've been improving over the past day or so.
And then we can do something different maybe to get a different look here. So just some messing around with time displacement.
Do a mosaic.
That's cool.
Let's work on a mosaic.
Mosaic on here.
Somewhere.
So I'll do that.
Throw some contrast on it.
You could definitely come up with something pretty cool.
Hmm?
You could definitely use that too, especially if you layer it and some other
Yeah.
stuff.
So there you go. Thought that was kind of interesting. All right, hey, how are you? Good. I'm Trent.
Paul.
Nice to see you, Paul. Let me grab you a chair over here. How'd you find out about the group, Paul?
I met someone at a convention
Okay.
called Justin Young.
Okay.
He knew about it.
Very cool. I'm glad you're here. We're just looking right now at some time displacement stuff. And,
Ooh, that's fun.
seeing just some random things that can happen based on gradient transitions. And like that, kind of interesting. All right, so the next thing is this shape layer. Normally, you would need to create yourself a pre-comp with your gradient, and maybe even a pre-comp with your like your animation, like I did here. But for we didn't even look at this. Let's change here and see what this does. That's all right. Anyway, if you use gradient shape layers, this guy up here with the gradient, and then you use shape layers inside your comp, you can do all of it inside the one main comp. So also, we were talking about this time resolution earlier. I'm going to bump this way up so you can see what it does. This is kind of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, kind of wiggly. And then, so we can even, say again?
What does your gradient look like on this one?
I'll show you. Looks like that.
Okay, cool.
So we can even change the gradient. Let's go linear. I'm just option clicking on the fill box up there,
And now does that, can you switch through the different modes if you option click on it?
like that.
No.
Yeah.
Also,
It's one of my faves. Got that from John Ruiz, who used to work here. So I'm gonna go here, and if I select my shape layer and I select my gradient fill, I think if I even just do select anywhere inside with this rectangle, I can select my move tool with the V key, and as long as I have my my bounding boxes and all that visible, then I'll get my gradient start and end points. So then, if I want to be able to continue to see my gradient start and end points, but I don't want to see my gradient, I can take this opacity to 0 and still be able to see that and drag my gradient points around. That's one of my favorite features of shape layers. And then, so we're just gonna start to zoom in a little bit. We'll see what this guy looks like. Interesting enough. And then if we change here back to like 12 on the resolution, see what it does. And it of course renders faster. And
Kind
it
of
is.
like a glitch effect.
Say again?
It's kind of like a glitch effect.
Yeah, yeah. We can even maybe grab this rectangle and so, so I have extra rectangles, you'll see in here, extra rectangles in there. And I have them animated to where they start inside the box and then move out like that. So the shape layers are being combined by using merge paths here. And then once I merge those two together, those are the two that are animated to appear. I then have my extra rectangle, my big rectangle, and then I do another merge paths to add. So that first one is a merge, and the next one is an add. And then I get my stroke. I can also do a fill. And we'll see what that looks like with the animation. And then turn on the effect. So it's a little bit of, feels like a little bit of anticipation, a little bit of follow through with not a whole lot of work. You know? Then let's see, the shape layers, just kind of to project out. Once you're using shape layers in here, you can do all kinds of animating paths from one thing to another, create even like we could create a shape like that and copy this path. And do a different shape over here. I think we can do that. And then paste the path. It just animates itself over there. And, some funky stuff going on. Just make it a solid fill. And grab that time displacement. Paste it on there. Cool. It's a little goofy, but let's do, make it a little tighter. So just the idea that you can do this easily with shape layers and not even jump out of the comp you're in is pretty fun to me. So this extra thing here without the time displacement is one of the things that I wanted to work with you guys tonight on. So I'll turn off that fill and show you why in the world I was doing this in the first place. I like to do some of the same things over and over again, just because it's easy. And therefore I have to push myself to do things that are different. And so we're going to go here to this tough issues thing. I want the bumper. Let's see, bumper. Maybe I have to go here. And what you'll see is that there is a set of lines that are part of the design. These guys here. And typically what I would do is just take the paths and animate a trim paths to have the lines grow on.
Mm.
You know, maybe they grow on a little differently or different directions, different rates, whatever. But that's typically what I would do. So I'm trying to push myself on this one to do something different. And I noticed that these hard angles here just kind of look like somebody took a line and shoved another geometric shape up against it, kind of shoved it out of the way. So I've used shape layers, just created extra boxes and animated the boxes into each other so that they would push the boundaries of the boxes. You can see kind of how they grow on. I ended up doing some kaleidoscopy things with it too, but they grow a little bit, but then they shove on each other and push pieces out of the way. And like this right here, this corner, how it kind of grows up. So
Nice.
with that in mind, we can go look at, and why don't we just create a new one here. I'll create a box and just go like that. And just to center up the anchor point, I'll do Option Command Home, and then I can do Command Home. And that puts the box in the center. Okay, so I'll actually do it again, just way out of the way over here. Like that. Go ahead with a square. There we go. Option Command Home, and then Command Home. Puts it in the center there. All right, so now I've got a rectangle and a path, and I'm going to animate some other little things. Okay, so let's have another rectangle and make it smaller like that, and I'll have it extend out on the corner and see what that looks like. So I know that my center position is 0, 0 if I need that again. I can come over to the edge like that. Because I'm working with squares, I'm going to be more or less easy numbers on my position. So I'll set my keyframe there and come over like this and just move over to the edge like so. And if I want to be precise, I can just say, okay, let's make this 110 instead. And then I can work out a little bit of easier math for it. 245, maybe back down. So this was going to be minus 244, like that. It goes right up on the edge, and it just does that right there. So maybe I want it to scale up instead, along with that move. So I'll come down like that. And by the time it gets to the edge, I want it to start growing. I'll hit F9 here to get my keys, and I just default to 66% on my
What did you click to open that?
Shift Command K. And if you want to see where it lives here, it's under keyframe velocity.
Mm.
That. Let's do 66. That's not perfect. And then, just for fun, I could even, I mean, isn't all this fun? Do a repeater, and I want to have 4 of them, of course. I don't want them to go anywhere on the position, but I do want them to rotate 90 degrees.
Whoa.
And then we can, let's do another rectangle here. And I want to do kind of a little, maybe 2 bumps that come out from the edge. Make a little stair step. So I'll scale this down. And this will be the first bump that moves out. I'll go right there and set a position. Scoot over a little bit and move it out here like that. And I'll do some easing. Shift Command K, 66%. Like that. And then I'll have another one just like it that goes a little bit further. So go up a tiny bit, maybe scale him down. Like that. And then when that grows out, we'll have another piece grow out just a little bit further. That. I want to be reasonably precise just to try and line that up on that edge right there. And then we'll, I think I want to merge those guys. So do merge paths for the top 3 and merge them. Now, I might need to group them. We'll see. And then for this down here, I'll do another merge paths. And then I'll be add. And then we'll get rid of that fill and see what this looks like. Okay, so that is not what I want. So let's maybe come in here and do some grouping. And there's a new grouping feature that you can do Command G, and it'll group.
Like Illustrator.
And then, so now those 2 can merge here. Okay, so those two merge. Then we're going to merge that here. We're going to do one more merge. We don't want it in there. We want it outside of that. Okay. Let's just figure out what we're working with here. I feel like I have gotten myself into a pickle. So let's figure it out. First thing is this group. Let's undo back. Get rid of some of these things. All right. Turn those off. Okay, so this is my repeated piece, and I am going to, let's see about merging that guy to start with. That, and then we'll add him and try and merge that. So we'll go group here and then do another merge. I promise it works, guys. Alright, so now we've merged those. And I want to make sure I can still get my, maybe I don't see my stroke because I don't have a stroke. Let's do that. Okay, so these guys have been merged and they are now showing up with this stroke here. And then let's see if we need to, yeah, so this here, because these guys work together, I need them to be merged like that. You can see how that profile changes. This rectangle has a fill, and that will be okay as long as we merge down again. Okay. There you go.
Very nice.
Nice. Be seeing these shapes in my sleep tonight. Jump on the computer. All right, let me figure this out.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's of course, please don't just watch me do this and go, oh, that's nice. Go home and mess around with shape layers. Try and create interesting things, you know, use your repeaters, do merging and subtracting and adding shapes together, because you can do some pretty outstanding stuff if you leverage shape layers the right way. And if we look over
I think
here,
it might have worked without all that. If you, I think because you didn't have the stroke turned on before.
yeah, it may,
So I
that
think
may have
that's
done.
probably why it didn't look like it was working.
Yeah.
Because you just saw the blue outlines of the shape layers.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I can now go to the Cinema 4D renderer here. I'll put a camera in. I'll make this guy 3D. So it can go like that. And on this stroke here, just gonna fatten it up a little bit. And then I can add geometry to this by extruding it. I'll put in a light. crazy cool shape. And then we can zoom in here like this. I'll do a little bevel on it. And watch what happens in the shape. So there's some goofiness that happens right there when I think that has to do with the holes being closed up by these shapes that are coming out. But in practice, it didn't work exactly like I wanted it to, but in theory, it's a pretty interesting way to just create some interesting geometry inside After Effects without having to go out to some of the 4D.
How'd you do the what's like when the video you showed first? It's kind of like reflected.
Okay, I'll show you that.
Maybe
Go back here, turn this back to
the
classic.
landscape effect.
3D. And for that, I probably, I'm not going to pull it up, but I probably did mirror. Even maybe add a trim paths on here just to see something else interesting. Yeah, so maybe as this guy grows out, trim paths kind of finishes it up. And it's weird because of some of the stuff that's happening with this, with the repeater. So maybe I can even turn the repeater off and see about doing that right there. So anyway, once you drop the mirror on there, you get some crazy extra stuff you can do too.
Okay.
And then
You could probably do multiple mirrors, right, and then rotate them.
So do that. Do another mirror. And then, just crazy stuff now. So there you go. Any other thoughts? Any other questions about this? One of my favorite things to do with a shape layer. Let me see if I still have this out here. At some point, I had a snowflake. So let's go up here. And the snowflake is an After Effects shape layer. It's okay. Gotta make sure all the effects work. if you have on, if you have turned on the actual JavaScript or something like that, then the if-else situation that you had previously used does not work. You got to put your curly braces on there in order for that to work. It took me a little bit to figure that out. But
Is that a setting you enable?
I think there is a setting in preferences about that. Maybe here. I've just left it on, so I'm not positive. If anybody else knows, let me know. I don't know if it's this or... Yeah, I'm not sure. I think somewhere there's a setting that does different JavaScript than like the more simple JavaScript from previous versions of After Effects. But you know, the closer you get to learning how to program, better for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just a shape layer with repeaters on it, and I can, with my move tool, select here and change my points and adjust my snowflake. And I'm only adjusting this one path, and it changes the whole thing all around. So once again, play with shape layers. Don't be afraid. I don't know if you were afraid before, but
Nice.
yeah. All right, let's see. Let's do nulls to, is that called nulls to paths? I'm going to create a new column here. Paths to nulls, I think is what it's called. Paths to nulls. Previously in After Effects, previous to maybe, I don't know if it was 2019 or maybe just a few versions ago, in order to animate a masked path, you had to jump through a lot of hoops. There were, I believe, some people who had figured out some ways to do some scripting that would give you handles on your paths with nulls, but After Effects, the team in After Effects has made it way easier than it ever was before, and then they built it in. So I'll just look at an example of what happens here. I'll drop a solid in. Just create a simple mask, and then I'll select all my points by clicking on the mask path here. And if you're looking for it, it's under the window menu, Create Nulls from Paths. So we have a couple different things we can do. We can have points follow nulls, or we can have nulls follow points. The one that I'm more likely to do is points follow nulls. So that creates these guide nulls or control nulls, and they allow you to adjust the points on the path based on where the nulls are. Okay, so I just clicked it, and it looked at all the points, and it made me a bunch of nulls. So now, if I grab this null and drag it, then it changes where the point is. Okay? And I get a lot of expressions here, or an expression that does a lot of stuff. Okay? just so you know that that exists there. It looks like I have some effects, and I can change which layers the points reference. So there's a point, and it's referencing this layer. Let's try that. Okay, so now there are 2 points referencing one null instead of that one referencing 1 and that one referencing 2. They're both referencing 2. Alright, so I'm going to delete the expressions like that. Delete the nulls. And we'll do something different here. We will create handles, Bezier handles. Like that. You know what? Let's just do that. Let's see what happens. It's kind of goofy. Looks like a dude with cheeks. Turn that. Hey, there he is. All right, so now I'll select my path again. Go back to my nulls from paths, like that. And now I have these curves still. It kind of froze where those Bezier handles were. Okay. That one is still a point because that's what the Bezier handle was doing, which basically equates to nothing on that. Okay, so now something. Yep, please.
So it's actually, I found online somewhere someone did like an extended version of that create shape layers of nulls. It also includes one that creates nulls for the Bezier handles.
Yes, and I think maybe it is this guy.
Yeah, I have something like that.
Yeah,
gets a little more messy, but
right. But now these multicolored guys are the
Cool.
handles.
Oh.
Okay, so the handles follow the null,
Nice.
but then you can also change the Bezier curve on there.
you know, can you still animate the path at this point, or can you not animate the path anymore?
Yeah, I don't believe you can
Yeah,
animate
you
the
lose
path
control.
anymore.
Yeah.
I think it is only referencing what's in that
Gotcha.
set of expressions. All right, so now we're going to do maybe what could potentially, I mean, we're not going to really design anything up very hard, but we'll do what can potentially be a little bit of a real world example on this. And the idea that I came up with is maybe having a ball or something fall and hit like a elastic surface. Okay. So this is going to be my elastic surface here. I'm going to do like that. And I'm going to put in here, I'm going to hit G and put on my surface a couple of extra points like that. And then I'll even make sure that one has handles. Some handles here. Let's make sure. Sometimes we're going the wrong way. Like that. I'm just holding shift to snap those guys. So now, if I take this handle and move it down, it looks maybe a little bit like one of those mattresses you can jump up and down on and not spill your friends. have a ball that's going to fall in here and hit this thing. Okay, so create my ball here, and I'll do